Carrington. It's dumped by Benami. The leaders are winding up here. Daytona, the big one is out. Good evening, race fans, and welcome back to the Spec Miata Series, sponsored by Diamond CBD and presented by Team Goon Squad. On behalf of Team Goon Squad, my name is James East, bringing the action 1080p, 60 frames a second, as we head out to the Charlotte Motor Speedway, getting ready for two 15-minute sprint races. As open qualifying comes to an end, we're going to get our drivers down on the grid and get ready to get this party started. As it looks like it's going to be Gareth McAllister on the front row, the world-famous Australian making his way out tonight. As let's go ahead and take a look at tonight's grid. Starting on pole, Gareth McAllister, the number will be starting first. Thor Tulo starts second. Dawson Cram starting third. Jimothy West starting fourth. Tyler McRae fifth on the grid. Fort DeSoto starting sixth. Brian Hyden starting seventh. Joshua Soto starting eighth. Martin Day at ninth. Joseph Penn starting 10th. David Gonzalez will be starting 11th, and Avery Farrell will be rounding out our field here today. Let's get ready and get the party started here at Charlotte. It is going to be a good one, ladies and gentlemen. As the engines roar and away they go. Diving into turn one as Charlotte's Thor Tulo and Gareth McAllister out front as they go three wide behind. That's Cram, West, McAllister, all making their way into the first left-hander, but Thor Tulo is going to run out front. Cram running second. McAllister gets dropped back to third, down 2 spots from where he started tonight. And already we're going to get things rowdy off the start as we hear some carnage going on towards the back. Try and get a look and see who that might have been, as it appears most of the field still running straight and not having any problems. As Joseph Penn gets spun by what I believe was Wisnowski in the 31 machine. Interesting to see what's going to happen here as we get ready to watch the overtake for ninth. As we got somebody pointing the wrong direction, that's Bradley Cockrell, number 420. He's got big problems. Joseph Penn looks to the inside of Wisnowski, and Wisnowski comes up the track to throw a block and purposely crashes Joseph Penn. A brave move, since Penn is one of the race control guys here at the Spec Miata Series. So I would imagine Wisnowski will not be long for this race. Up front is Tulo, McAllister, and Dawson all battling hard here. Tulo currently has about a 9/10 advantage over McAllister. West sitting in fourth, McRae in fifth. Good to see McRae out here tonight in that 99 machine. He is normally an oval racer, coming and hanging out, racing one of the free Team Goon Squad series to have some fun with some friends. And let's pan the camera back and see what's going on. Looks like McRae getting a little bit closer to West here. As we've got great racing all across the track. Here comes Brian Heaton in the number 14 machine as well, trying to make his way up and overtake McRae in the battle for fifth. As we go back up front, though, Gareth McAllister has company from Dawson Cram. Cram getting within about a 4/10 of a second, but it looks like McAllister may have picked up the draft from Tulo here. As they make their way into the chicane, the bus stop, I should say, before coming into the final section of the raceway. Come around NASCAR, I believe that's going to be turns 3 and 4. Not much distance between our top three drivers, less than a second separating both Tulo, McAllister, and Cram. And man, Cram gets a drive out of the final bus stop right on the back bumper of McAllister. And an insanely heated battle for second here. As Cram did have the fastest lap of the race so far, using the draft of McAllister to click off a 132.27. McAllister running about 2/10 slower. Ooh, a little bit of contact between the second and third place drivers. As McAllister just doing everything he can to pick up the draft of Tulo running out front. Tulo knows he's got that two-pack of cars behind him. Any mistake will allow those drivers using the draft off each other to catch up to that number 90 machine who's been fast all season long. Oh, and here we go side by side. Dawson Cram using the inside line against McAllister's number 25 machine on the middle groove, so that's going to be the battle for second. Tulo's got to be happy about this. Every time these two drivers go too wide battling for second, that takes the draft pressure off of him. And oh, look at that, a massive save by Cram, allowing McAllister to take over second place once more. But this battling has really allowed Tulo to stretch his legs, now 1.6 seconds ahead of the second and third place driver, the biggest the gap has been so far today. Speaking of fast drivers, Joshua Soto catching up to Tyler McRae. Soto likes to start from the back of the grid to have some more people to drive around, as in earlier rounds this season he has checked out and been gone and away from the majority of the field. As you can see, his left side mirror has been displaced from that Miata. Just fantastic racing all across the field. As right now, Soto's got about a 1.9 second disadvantage to West in front of him, who's running fourth. We're going to pan the camera back to your race leader. No, we are not, as Soto's getting ready to catch up the traffic once more. That's West just ahead of him, who had a very big bobble into the chicane. And I think Soto's going to be charging through the field here, checking in on Thor Tulo. Still running about 1.4 seconds ahead of McAllister. That last time by, McAllister was just about 3/10 faster than your race leader. But it'll be a long race. Again, this is a Spec Miata series. Everybody on the same equipment as far as the car goes. It's all about the driver. That connection between the seat and the steering wheel. As drivers come out here each and every week to work on their racecraft. Bradley Cockrell, he takes a tow back to pit road. He will be done and out of tonight's event. Now Soto's going to get around West as well in the battle for fourth. As your drivers giving a little bit of contact to that outside wall. Joseph Penn also comes down pit road, trying to get some repairs done on his number 24 after the malicious incident we saw early in this opening heat race. And now McAllister clicks off the fastest lap of the race, a 132.165, finding more speed as the run progresses. McAllister now getting within striking distance of Soto, less than a second separating these two drivers. McAllister doing his best to put his head down here and just try and catch up. As the battle for the lead starting to shape up, McAllister finding a 10th here, a 10th there, and now he's definitely caught the draft of Tulo out front. Now this is a 15-minute sprint race tonight. We're 9 minutes through. As McAllister, the number 25 machine, trying to do everything in his power. Martin Day also takes the tow back to pit road. He will be done and out for this event. McAllister with a little bit of a bobble there. That's going to allow Tulo to extend that gap back out to about 8 tenths as the run progresses. No, and that might be the opportunity there as Tulo tags the outside wall into the chicane right before the start and finish line. McAllister has red in his eyes. He's within striking distance of Tulo. After Tulo with that major bobble, allowing the Australian driver to really catch up here. Less than 3 tenths separating the two. McAllister hot on the tails of that number 90 machine. He has squarely caught the draft here. Let's see, can the young Australian driver try and pull something together here in the final laps in Charlotte? Doing everything in his power to try and catch back up to your race leader. It has been a game of yo-yo, watching that relative go up, it goes down, and look at this. McAllister right on the back bumper of Tulo, looks to the outside line, going into the chicane here. And no, and now it's his turn for McAllister to tag the wall. Tulo missing his right side mirror with after his early incident. McAllister able to keep his attached squarely, but he's going to be facing a little bit of damage as well, as he is doing his absolute best to stay in that draft of Tulo. Only 3 minutes left to go in this opening heat race, and the top two drivers putting on a fantastic show as McAllister and Tulo go too wide once more into the bus stop. Tulo trying a high-low maneuver, but McAllister blocks the way, crossing the start-finish line. 2.5 minutes left to go for these two drivers. Who will be the most consistent here in the Spec Miata, sponsored by Diamond CBD? This is just the opening sprint race of the night, and these two drivers putting on an absolute riveting show for everybody here in attendance. Last time by, McAllister was actually 4 tenths. No, He was almost a full second faster than Tulo. So we saw this in qualifying as well. Tulo was using the draft of McAllister to set better lap times in open quali. And now it is McAllister's turn to lead out front with Tulo in tow. And making their way out onto the banking here at Charlotte. Tulo doing his best to stay in the draft with that number 25 machine of Gareth McAllister. McAllister tagging the wall in the same spot he did just the lap prior. It looks like both competitors have about an equal drive coming out on a NASCAR turns 3 and 4 down the backstretch. Tulo looks at the inside line, gets on the brakes early, thinking better of it, trying to set up McAllister. A minute left to go in this feature event. The opening sprint race of the night. These guys are really driving these things. That time by McAllister with a 1:33.34, Tulo with a 33.46. Both drivers backing down the pace as they are racing against each other. Now they don't have to worry too much about Soto, who's running third. He's about 11.5 seconds back. As I believe the white flag will come out this time by, if not the checker. Now Tulo looks to the inside line of McAllister. Side-by-side action. McAllister gets on the brakes slightly earlier to try and narrow the corner, but Tulo's going to hold on to it here. McAllister takes a peek at the inside line. Tulo throws a block, saying, McAllister, if you're going to come around, you're going to be on the high line to try and make it happen. McAllister trying to grab the side draft, but not quite there as they go side by side down the backstretch. McAllister on the left side of your screen, Tulo on the right side. Tulo stalls the run into the bus stop. McAllister's going to really suffer with his drive out of the corner here, as he'll be about a half second back from Tulo. Not sure if he's going to be able to pull that draft. It's going to give him a 10th on the high bankings in Charlotte, but maybe not quite enough, as it's 4/10 difference heading into the final section of Raceway. The checkered flag will come out, and it will be Thor Tulo, Gareth McAllister, putting on an absolute show here today. A great finish from these top two drivers, and what was a spectacular showing for the opening sprint race. We're going to run a quick commercial break, but don't go anywhere. We will be back with more of the Spec Miata series, sponsored by Diamond CBD. Driver Carrington gets dumped by Benami. The leaders are winding up here. Daytona. The big one is out. And we are back for the second and final sprint race of the night. It's going to be Thor Tulo, Gareth McAllister on the front row, Dawson Cram starting third, Timothy West starting fourth, Tyler McRae starting fifth, Ford DeSoto starting sixth. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, as Let's Go Racing here at Charlotte as the green flag flies. It's Tulo, McAllister on the front row. Tulo, and here comes Timothy West along the outside line of McAllister. Into turn one, the newcomer, Hedian, I should say, number 14 machine getting out there as well. As Tulo and Soto quickly have a breakaway, Tyler McRae has problems. He drops back to 7th. And already Tulo and Soto have about a 1.5 second advantage over Gareth McAllister. Now just last race we saw McAllister and Tulo put on a mad dash throughout the run here. Let's see if the Australian can catch back up, as I would think Tulo and Soto here are going to work together to avoid letting the rest of the field catch up. Both drivers hopping through the curbing in the bus stop. Definitely not the fastest way around, but look at this. Soto looks to the inside line of Tulo. Doesn't have the drive that he was looking for and settles to drop in behind the number 90 machine. And look at that, they're bump drafting here at Charlotte. Soto saying, let's get away from the rest of the pack. Let's extend this lead over McAllister. Right now it's a 2.5 second advantage back to the third place Australian driver. As these guys are absolutely flying here. And no, Soto drills the outside wall. Soto looks like his wheel disconnects. So that's going to allow Tulo to take the lead uncontested. He has a 30-second advantage, almost 3-second advantage to Gareth McAllister as Soto takes the tow back to pit road. And what appears to be a hardware issue for the odds-on favorite to bring home another win. The 07 machine is out of the race. What a wild start to this second sprint race of the evening. As now McAllister has his work cut out for him. We've also got more races as Timothy West appears to have avoided crashing into, I believe that was Brian Hady in the number 14 machine. So now McRae will inherit third place in the 99 machine. What a wild race here in the Spec Miata series. The guys going out there giving it their all each and every week. And putting on a mad dash of a show for everybody. Right now, McRae, the primarily oval racer, running strong in third place. He's about 1.3 ahead of Hedian in the number 14 machine. All these drivers doing a good job keeping it clean so far. As McAllister clicks off the fastest lap of the race on 132.99. Still about 2.3 back, as now we watch that number 14 machine starting to get a little bit closer to striking distance of McRae in the all red number 99 Miata. As let's watch starting to settle up for a three-car battle for third. It's McRae, Hedian, and West all in the mix here. All within about 2 seconds of each other, as the leaders still fairly shred apart. McAllister's got about a 2-second disadvantage to race leader Tulo. As now he didn't get within about a half second of that number 99 machine. McAllister getting faster, clicking off a 132.18. Gaining more time on your race leader, Tulo. Tulo with a 132.49 his last time by. But we are about to see a heated battle for third. Two newer drivers to road racing coming out here and battling hard. Look at that, they're side by side. McRae holds on to it in the 99 machine. And gets a bit of a gap here, stretching his legs, overheating, a chance of reprieve. Here we go, a little bit more side-by-side action. McRae and Hedian putting on a show in the battle for third. West in the 355 machine also trying to interject himself into the party. And it's a three-car battle for third here today. McRae doing his best to hold on to it. As everybody swerving around trying to find a clean line through here. West taking a peek at the number 14 machine. Hedian backs out of it and says, you can go after McRae for a little while, as they go side by side once more. Hedian takes over the third place spot for how long? West pushes wide, following the two drivers in front of him who are still too wide here around Charlotte. In the background, you can see the 1.2 second gap between Tulo and McAllister. But right now, the action is all here for third, as McRae looks under the inside line of the all-yellow machine of Hedian. West also in tow, enjoying the very large hole in the air. These two drivers are pushing their way through. Clearing it out. McAllister, he's got down to the 131s, a 131.98 his last time by. As West takes a peek at the inside line in the battle for third and fourth, thinks better of it, backs out. McRae tags the left side wall. He has removed a mirror here. And now West and Hedian are going to run nose to tail as well, which is now the battle for fourth. But I think both the driver, number 14 of Hedian and the 355 of West, want to catch back up to McRae and get themselves in a possible podium spot here. 7 minutes left to go in the final sprint race of the evening. West looks at the inside line of Hedian, and they're going to go briefly too wide through one. Looks like West backed out of it. As the battle here for fourth is slowing down the pace, allowing McRae to get about a 9-10 second advantage. And McRae sends it on the curbing. Hedian swerves into the grass. West goes super wide to avoid the carnage. And look at that, a 2-for-1. West inherits third place, but not for long, as McRae is going to slingshot around the outside line. McRae fighting for that podium spot with everything he has, that now West will take over fourth. Everybody digging hard, looking to get up there and get that final podium spot. And let's see what's going to happen here, as McRae still holding on to it, about 7/10 ahead of West. But West stays glued to that back bumper. And he's going to try the slingshot move on the outside line as they go side by side in the battle for third. We saw this move just a couple of laps prior. West and McRae have raced oval events hundreds of times together. They know what they can get away with on the high bankings. But being together on a road course, somewhat a new experience for these two drivers. West going to lead this battle for third into turn one, followed by McRae and Hedian up front. It's still Tulo and McAllister with a 1 second gap between the two. As now West may be able to stretch his legs here, gaining about 8-9 tenths over McRae. But as McRae put aptly before the race tonight, turning left is no problem for the driver of the 99 machine. So let's see if he can catch back up to West on the banking here. As West tags the outside wall very, very hard. This may give McRae the opportunity he's looking for, as West lost about a half second there and dropping fast. As McRae has his eyes set on the purple and black 355 machine. Who's going to have the better run out of the corner? Both drivers missing mirrors here late in the race. Only 4 minutes left to go. With a half second separating West and McRae. McRae picking up the draft of the 355 machine into the final set of turns. Who's going to be able to navigate the chicane the cleanest here? As both drivers staying very equally matched. No, both drivers tagged the wall. McRae limping it down. He's got heavy suspension damage. The 99 machine will be done for this event as he takes a tow back to pit road. Brian Hedian will take over 14th. West holding on to 3rd. Absolute carnage. Those three drivers put on a fantastic showing. And now Joseph Penn, the number 24 machine, will inherit the 5th place spot. As we check in on your race leader, Thor Tulo, he's about 1 1/10 ahead of Gareth McAllister, the world famous Australian. As you see McAllister in the background trying to catch that draft from Tulo. Now our first race was a absolute battle royale with both drivers making some extremely clean passes over the duration of that 15-minute sprint. Tulo giving the wall a little bit of a tail tap there, allowing McAllister to gain about 2 tenths here in the infield. Now these two drivers have absolutely checked out. They are 28 seconds ahead of West in 3rd. As for the most part, Tulo and McAllister have had clean track for the entire duration of this event, while the battle for 3rd was slowing down the pace somewhat rapidly. Not to detract to just how fast the top two drivers are. They're clicking off laps 2 to 3 seconds a lap faster than the rest of the field. And now let's see if McAllister can catch the draft of Tulo. Tulo in the fluorescent yellow and purple number 90 machine. McAllister in the all-white Miata with a drooping right mirror. 6 tenths separating these two drivers going through 3 and 4. McAllister may be able to pick up the draft here and gain just a couple more needed tenths. One minute left in tonight's final sprint race of the evening. We're going to see another final lap shootout in the works here. As no McAllister tags the outside wall, he's going to lose 2 tenths there coming on the banking. Such an important section of track if you're able to stay in the draft of your competition in front of you. Still about 6 tenths between Tulo and McAllister. And no, McAllister throws it away. Thor Tulo will be able to come to the end here uncontested. As we pan back to what is now the battle for third once more, West has company. As the checkered flag will fly for Thor Tulo, our race leader, Gareth McAllister will secure second place. As we watch to see what's going to happen here in the battle for third, the final spot. Oh, West gets punted. And look at that, Hadian waits for the 355 machine, realizing it was his error. Absolute sportsmanship here at the the Pro Spec Miata Series, sponsored by Diamond CBD. Hadian came in too deep, got to the back of West, and allows him to get his car back under control and secure third place. Great sportsmanship out on track here today, as West will bring it home in that third place spot. But it is all about Thor Tulo picking up another back-to-back win here. Great racing from all of these guys. And that will put a cap on tonight's event, the Spec Miata Series, sponsored by Diamond CBD. Thor Tulo, Gareth McAllister, Jimothy West round out our top three after an action-packed evening. On behalf of TeamGoonSquad.com, thank you all so much for tuning in, and we'll see you same time, same place next week. Have a great night, everyone.